Alright, hey, hi, hello, welcome back, Alexandrian Codex Islanders, because I'm just stuck in my ways. Last night I made a whole list, like, dozens of games, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should play that. Oh yeah, I should stream that. Oh yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to go back and take a second look at. And I'm sitting here at my desk in the morning after eating breakfast, staring at my desktop. What do I decide to boot up? Oh, Islanders. Yeah. It's a good fucking game. It's so goddamn relaxing. It's so goddamn relaxing. I was thinking like, oh man, like I could give Knights of the Old Republic a fair shake and actually finish it this time, because I do love that game, or go play KOTOR 2, or Bioshock, or some like really retro arcade games, stuff like Tetris and Pac-Man, and talk about the history of game development. And there's a series I've been wanting to start for a while, kind of an industry retrospective, looking back over the course of video game development and history, and year by year what's been popular sellers, what's been well rated by ratings boards, and what's actually lived on and had a fair legacy, like Minecraft, for example. Minecraft made a couple of Game of the Year lists the year it came out, but it was largely overlooked and for other contemporary titles. I can't remember what made the most #1 slots that year, but it was not Minecraft. But if you go and look at largest player base on a given date, or largest player base over time, or profitability, Minecraft just fucking destroys anything else that came out that year. And that's kind of fascinating, right? Like how subjective and deeply flawed our our ability to critique and analyze things are. How when we're in the moment, even when that moment was sometime in this last year, we don't have historical context yet. Even if we feel like we're making a pretty informed decision, an informed estimation of something based off of prior experience, based off of, you know, knowledge and everything else, we can still be so wrong about things. Like, yeah, I think that's pretty damn cool. I mean, it's also, you know, mildly existentially unsettling, but shit, what isn't? Yeah. Obviously, I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better. And really, it just took having one conversation that I've been wanting and expecting to have for me to be like, okay, done, great, now I can quit thinking about that. And you know, it's not just that. My hormonal state changed, my brain chemistry changed, and that let me fucking chill a little bit. That, and I've been taking pretty active steps to counter and work with my incessant depression. I'm dieting, working out. I'm actually trying to stick to working out. I'm trying to commit myself to talking to at least one new person a day. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but like, it's in an anti-social city like Seattle, it's hard to do. And also I've been coming up with places I want to actually go and try and meet people at, and trying to get a feel for what kind of communities I want to be a part of and want to participate in. Because I'm a fucking worker. I love listening. I love being at a party, but just like at the edge of the party, and feeling the emotion and the vibes, if you will, of the party, but without... I don't dance. I like being around, and I like being involved, but I don't like being... I don't like the burden of responsibility for it. I think that's a fair thing to say. I like being the center of attention if I'm feeling confident, but... Ooh, Lord. I'm not always feeling confident. Hell, I'm not often feeling confident. I'm working on that. I'm feeling pretty excited because I've been also working on some tattoo designs and concepts, and I feel like I'm getting to a good place with it. One thing that I've been attracted to and I've been thinking about is astrology. Now, I think astrology is bullshit. I think even personality tests like Briggs-Myers test is horseshit. That it's based on confirmation bias and loose interpretations, and there's a lot of fallacies, and there have been videos done on this and studies done on this. You don't have to take my word for it. They are like notoriously unreliable, and people tend to self-categorize knowingly or unknowingly when they take it. So, you know, if you see my dating profile, it's still on there because shit, it matters to some people, and you know, I guess I'll participate rather than raining on their parade. But to me, it doesn't really matter at all. It's fun to talk about and fun to think about, and personally, I find it to be like a really, really fascinating insight into societal expectations and societal norms surrounding who we are and what it teaches us to be a member of our society or our place in history or a place in whatever else. Like, it helps to define for certain people that certain behaviors are normalized or okay or encouraged or typical, and for other people, other behaviors being encouraged and normalized and yada yada yada. And this isn't something exclusive to astrology by any means, but the variations across different cultures is fucking interesting, and the overlaps too. I sent poor Jubilee just a wall of text earlier because I got started talking about it. Breaking down, well, you know, according to this lunar calendar on this, but according to this lunar system on this, and this from this part of the world in this period of time would be this, but it's changed to this, and you can interpret it this way, and this, and this kind of agree, but they kind of disagree, and it's really interesting. But yeah, I've been thinking about that stuff, and personally, I think there's value. I feel that there's value in astrology in the sense that it gives you a space and it gives you room to think about who you are and different aspects of your personality, what you want to emphasize, de-emphasize. It gives you concepts and context and lenses for you to look at yourself and look at the world through, and those are really, really, really helpful and beautiful creative devices, right? We humans have such an amazing capacity for seeing patterns and creating patterns, for telling stories and imagining narratives. Our brains are so well wired for it, and I think that's really fucking cool. So, you know, like, oh, what about this resonates with me? What doesn't resonate with me? How does that help me express who I am, or who I believe myself to be, or who I feel like I am today? And yeah, I've been wanting to get a tattoo for a while. Another tattoo for a while. I have one. It's it represents the throat chakra, Vishuddha. It's the seed sound for it, which is it hum? Is it hum? It's H-A-M, but I forget the pronunciation on it. I think it's hum. It's not ham, but it's, yeah, it's spelled that way. The seed sound of a chakra is the note or noise or key, if you will, that you make when you're meditating on it. You know, in cliche, culturally inaccurate and sensitive films where people are going, that kind of thing. That's a seed sound that they are making. The sound is supposed to resonate with your chakra and help you get it in tune, or clear it, or focus on it, and be mindful of that part of your body. Really, it depends on the discipline that you practice and the school of thought that you follow, how literal or how metaphorical it is. Is it metaphorical? Metaphorical it is, yeah. Pretty cool. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten increasingly kind of uncomfortable with it because I'm not Buddhist or Hindu, and I don't meditate very often, and like chakras are something I find intellectually and god damn it, what's the word? Intellectually and conceptually fascinating and provocative and attractive, but some people it's a lot more meaningful than just like, ooh, that's kind of cool. Or it's not just, ooh, it's kind of cool. It is meaningful and it does resonate with me and have truth to me, but it's still like borderline cultural appropriation-y, and I really wish there were just a fucking board where I could be like, hey, is this past muster or is this in bad taste? But the more I've thought about it, the more it seems like it was not the most mindful or respectful choice, which is kind of ironic considering the entire point is to help me be more mindful of a certain aspect of myself and more appreciative of a certain aspect of myself and a better practitioner of creativity, of expression. So I've been thinking about maybe getting it covered up. You know, I've never liked the idea of covering up tattoos, because, you know, somebody put work into that, but, you know, it's dated a little bit, and I'm tired of explaining to people that it's Sanskrit and then having to go through the Vishuddha represents the throat chakra, and, well, Vishuddha is the throat chakra, it represents seed sound, which is this, and I got it because of this, this, and this, and it can mean this, 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 and this, and, you know, I think when people ask me, especially on first dates, or especially when somebody sees me without a shirt on or naked for the first time, they're probably expecting some bullshit answer like, oh, it means strength, or, you know, some other dumbass white person tattoo that's straight up cultural appropriation. Mine is just probably cultural appropriation and in bad taste. But, you know, even if it's ambiguously bad taste, the fact that it's even in the territory makes me uncomfortable enough that I kind of just want to nix it because of that. Like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but because it could be, maybe we just cover it up. You know, maybe no one will ever mind or get offended or think much of it, but, like, maybe someone will, and if we can just avoid someone ever making anyone feel negatively or think negatively, yeah, that's probably a positive. So I'm kind of wanting to replace it with a circle. It'll be the diameter of my current tattoo, because that's what I'm covering up, is a filled in, shaded in circle inside of a upside down equilateral triangle, which is a visual representation of Vishuddha, but it's not Sanskrit, which is a fucking alphabet I don't use, and you know, probably shouldn't have on my body. if it can just be shapes that represent something, well, that's a little better, right? And maybe I should have thought of that when I was... No, I definitely should have thought of that, but I was younger and stupid. I got this first tattoo when I was, oh god, 17 turning 18? I think I got it on my 18th birthday, maybe? And, yeah, I'm happy I got it. It's still meaningful to me. And... I was talking to someone not that long ago about my tattoos, and they said, well, they expressed that it was interesting or cool or whatever that my tattoo had so much meaning. They're like, I just got what seemed fun, and I didn't really know how to respond to that because I was taught, you don't fucking get a tattoo on a whim because it's there forever. And being careful and mindful about body modification is something that was really engendered and really enforced in how I was taught to think about them. Which also, you know, on the flip side, made them more precious and valuable in my mind, because they're not something you do trivially, they're not something you do lightly, they're deep and meaningful and powerful, and, you know, they represent time and money and pain and a permanent modification of your body, which is a temporary vessel, but is, so far as we know, the totality of who you are. Well, okay, your body is not the totality of who you are, but it is, you know, a big old part of who you are. So, I couldn't imagine not putting that much thought into it. So, I'm very sure about that shape. The equilateral downward-facing triangle, very, very sure about that. Now, this next step after that is up in the air. I want to... It's on my sternum. It's right on my collarbone. So that's where the shape would be, and it would extend, you know, a couple inches down my sternum. I kind of want to have the top line of the equilateral triangle branch off to the right and to the left until they hit my shoulders. I want to... I'm not sure what shapes I want to do that with, but I've been really liking semicircle and wing-like imagery to connect those. I don't really want tattoos on my chest, on my... Oh my god, what is that muscle called? Pectoral muscles? Just because I think the negative space looks better, and that the curves there are already pretty interesting. And if I get tattoos, I want them to accentuate and build on the body's natural curvature. My body's natural curvature. So I've been reading up on, well, not really reading up, referring to human anatomy when it comes to, like, your rib structure and your musculature and the chest and neck and shoulder area, and like how things connect to each other and yada yada yada, trying to come up with a design that goes for the same sort of feel I want to have, but also incorporates the shapes and structures that are already there underneath the skin, because that's something I've always liked and always been attracted to in tattoos. For years and years and years, I drew on my hands as a kid, and I always tried to outline the bones and the I just gestured for the camera, which is off right now because actually today I look fine. It's just off because I didn't bother turning it back on, and I wanted to knock this video out as quickly as possible so I can get back to well, so I can cook and work out and sleep. Yeah, I did my bones and my major veins in my hand. I fucking loved how that looked, and is kind of edgy, and I don't think I could get away with it as a permanent tattoo, at least not in the position I'm working right now. No, that's not to say I shouldn't get it, just not right now. But for more tattoo inspiration of different images and ideas and feelings that I want to incorporate into this chess piece that I'm designing, I started doing my astrology and divination in every fucking school of astrology and divination that I could find. Just to see, you know, just to see what comes up, what kind of contradictions there are, what ideas are consistent and resonate with me or feel good to me, that sort of thing. It's been a lot of fun. And it's really interesting to try and the historiography, the history of it, the study of it, and how people have tried to deconstruct how it's changed over time, or how different cultures or regions practice different things, and how that changed over time, and how certain ideas or concepts got from place to place, is so fucking cool. Like, you can look at something like the Zodiac calendar, and we tend to think of it like, yeah, you know, they represent different star constellations, and they kind of do, but each of those star constellations can then be broken down into smaller constituent parts. Three each, I think, called DECANS, Deccan Pi, you know, whatever, which are pretty cool. And then each of those has a slightly different meaning or twist on the larger or initial astrological sign, which are pretty cool. But then there's also like 8 schools that have interpreted them differently. 8 well-documented schools, and of those you can find a couple a couple with decent resources that you can actually reference, and god, it's so fucking neat. There's yeah, I mean, it's all made up, right? But that doesn't diminish the coolness factor. That doesn't diminish the value of it. Stories are made up. Religions are made up. Laws are made up. Money is made up. You know, the ideas of love and justice and truth are concepts. You know, I'm not gonna go all hogfather on you, but you know, if you don't get that, go after this. If you got a few hours to burn, watch The Hogfather, or make a note, in this winter solstice season, watch The Hogfather, because it is weird and good. Also, read it, I guess. You know, if you got a lot more time on your hands, read The Hogfather. Basically, spoilers, if, you know, you're interested in this thing and haven't consumed it before. At the end of the story, Death's daughter is talking to him, and she's asking about the Hogfather. It's Santa Claus. It's stand-in Santa Claus, and asking, you know, why do we need Santa Claus? It's a lie, right? Like, it's all made up. Why is it important that we believe in it? Well, everything's a lie. You know, truth, justice, peace. All of these are big lies, and we need the little lies like Easter bunnies and Hogfathers to help us practice the big ones, to help us make the big ones real. Because if we can put into practice traditions and holidays that functionally make Santa Claus real, that functionally make the Easter Bunny or Tooth Fairy real to millions of children, billions of children across the world, those same skills in believing in an ideal, believing in a concept, believing in something that has no basis inherently in reality. There are no atoms of truth and justice, right? There's no subatomic particles of love out there. You know, there are chemicals that make you feel the symptoms of what some people think of as love, but not the same thing, right? But believing in ideals and working together to create them and share them and rebuild the world together in a new way is an incredible thing. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if astrology is real or not, or Myers-Briggs is accurate or not. They're stories that help us understand ourselves and each other. They're ways that they're frameworks that we use to communicate with one another, to share with one another, to reach out to one another. And that gives them immense value. So that's why I'm thinking to death the symbolism and meaning of my tattoos. Because it does matter. Right? The tattoo I have, I can't see unless I look in a mirror or like really crane my neck, and then I can just see like a tiny bit of black ink. And that's all I ever see of my tattoo. It's not there for me. I mean, it's there for me to run my hand over and feel the bump in my skin and remember the meaning that gives me, and that's kind of a small ritual in and of itself. One that I really enjoy, actually. But it's also there as a conversation piece and as a way to talk to people about something that matters to me. So I can't... I don't know. I'm not the kind of person who could just get a tattoo because they think it looks cool and it be devoid of meaning or devoid of intention. Just like I talk about any other art, and tattoos are art, right? Like, obviously, yeah. Good art is intentional. Now, I often say political, but you know, with tattoos, maybe they don't have to be political, but certainly they should be intentional. An unexamined life, and I just, it's not for me. I want mindful and considerate. Alright, where am I going to put this? I can get 44 here. Yeah, I'm probably going to put a second one on the beach later if we get to that point, but for now, let's pop this up here. Do I want to put down mansions? Not really, because I'll put the mansions on the beach. God, I can't remember if these are bad for the temple or not. You know what? Let's just set that aside for now. You know, if you're the kind of person that gets I Heart Mom tattoos, shit, man, it's meaningful to you, do it. Sometimes tattoos can just be meaningful because of who gave it to us, who we were with when we got it, or just as a physical reminder of a memory. And it's okay for tattoos or for art to be private and exclusive. So you're not obligated to share anything with anyone that you don't want to. I'm a sharer, obviously. I like communicating and creating and collaborating and building things together and imagining things together. So for me, having things that are easy or possible to communicate is pretty important. Okay, it's necessary. It's not pretty important. It's like fucking mandatory. doesn't have to be true for you. My dad. I think his tattoo is the first one I ever saw. His is just it's Tweety Bird, I think, on his ankle. Can't remember for the life of me why he got it, or what it means to him. Yep. I designed a matching tattoo set for someone I was in a relationship with once. And I've thought about getting the tattoo even after the fact. We're still close, and I definitely have feelings for them. But that's not why I want it. I want it because the ideas it expresses, it's a combination of her zodiac and my zodiac, which are mirrors of each other. My sun sign is her moon sign is my sun sign. There we go, sun sign. Sometimes my sunshine, but that's not what I'm trying to say. And that was really cool and romantic, and I really liked that idea, that feeling that we were not yin and yang, not exactly, but you know, not far off from that idea. That we were complementary, different but complementary, and we fit well together. Now, really the main reason I never got the tattoo is money, more than anything else, and now that money's becoming less of a, well, now that I'm not panicking about paying the bills every month, except this month because my fucking paycheck is late. It'll be fine. I'm just... Ooh, my job is incompetent. It'll be fine. Well, now that I'm not worrying about money so actively anymore, let's say, I finally have space to be getting some of these bigger, more ambitious tattoos. No, I don't think I'm gonna get that one. I might. If I could get her to agree to get it with me, absolutely. Because then it would be sweet and sentimental and maybe romantic, but mostly just like sweet and sentimental and a nice reminder. If I got a variation of it, and I'm thinking about it because I was talking about zodiac and astrology being images and concepts that I think are interesting and exciting to help inform and inspire. I may incorporate some or parts of it in different ways, but I'm pretty undecided. I think I wanted it on my hip. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go dig up those old designs. God, if I even have them? I don't think I do. I may, but I think I kept them in a digital file, and, you know, I'll have to check. I either kept it out of nostalgia or got rid of it out of embarrassment. Those are really my two speeds. Some years, I look back at stuff I have and I get embarrassed that I have so much, and I guilt myself into throwing stuff away. Other years, I go back and look at how much stuff I have, and I hate on myself for not keeping more, and I can't win. Really, the winning strategy would be to put it into like a secondary archive or something, but that's pretty silly. Alright, so this would get this here, that here. yeah, so I've set some small goals for myself. Some financial goals, like how much I'm making now, how long that took after I got hired, how long it took me to get hired after starting to look at my old job, how long between promotions or raises it typically was at my old job, and looking at my rate of capital increase, if you will, or my rate of promotability, and thinking about, okay, well, how can I speed this up, or how can I maintain this pace, or, you know, what are my goals here? I don't think I want to be making ever more than 90,000 a year. Like, at that point, I don't think there's any justifiable reason to be making that much money. I really don't. Like, it's just excessive and insulting at that point. The only reason I'd want anything approaching that is that there have been studies done. I've talked about this before, and Lord knows I probably will again because I'm a broken record, showing that your happiness does increase as your income increases up to about $60,000, $65,000. Now that's salary, so that's annually. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I want to be happier, so that's a goal to aim for. But even living in the United States, I make so much more than the average human being. And oftentimes that kind of thing is used as ammunition to try and make people feel bad. Or, you know, it's often used as ammunition, like, you know, you want to be paid a higher minimum wage, but you have it so good here in America. Look at how poor people are overseas and how much less they make, and yada yada yada. And like, oh, you know, there are billions of people who blah, 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 blah. True. But the takeaway shouldn't be, oh wow, I should be content with what I have. No. And the takeaway shouldn't be, oh, I should give what I can. No, fuck you. Charity is well-intentioned, but it's a waste of your resources. You should use your resources to take the obscene amounts of money, wealth, capital, and power that's been hoarded by a few members of our society and redistribute that so that the rest of the world can have the kind of living standards that you take for granted. It's sweet and all that you want to buy someone in undeveloped agricultural region a cow or a chicken, but like, it would be better if you could tear down the people who've profited from abusing them and you and everyone else on the fucking planet. You know, it's probably not one or the other, and by that I mean it's definitely not one or the other. We should be helping each other as much as we can, but you know, most charitable donations come from people who can't afford it. By number of donations, I mean, not by wow, what is it? Value? By value, obviously, billionaires can throw down so much more money. Look at fucking Elon Musk just donating $1 million to plant 1 million trees. Kinda cool, but like, hey bud, why'd you have to make a spectacle of it? Like, why the fuck did you not think to do this with all of your money on your own? And just like, it's nice and all, but no, you got at least 1 million more. Why 1 million trees? Why is the planet only that valuable to? I feel like the uber wealthy are put into an unmanageable position. Unmanageable position. There we go. No one should have that much wealth. That is too much power and too much responsibility for any one person. Ethically, it's not fair to other people, just in any way. But also, there's no reasonable way to expect that one person could handle it and manage it properly. So if you have too much money for you to handle, if you have too many assets and you've accumulated too much capital to know what to do with, give it away, motherfucker. just quit trying to make more money. Give it to charity. Not some of it, like most of it. Pay high taxes. Set up profit losing and money, set up nonprofits that are gonna run in the red. Make investments in things that financially won't pay off, but culturally or ecologically will. I do believe that I think Sanders described it reasonably well somewhat recently, in the last week, that having as much wealth as billionaires do, it's like an addiction. It's like a sickness. And they need help. They need intervention. Because it's not just the sickness that only affects them, it also drastically and violently impacts everyone else. See, I'm feeling better because I'm going off on Marxist tirades. Well, really, it's not exactly Marxist, it's socialist, but I'm not advocating class warfare here. I sort of am. I would like a enforced but peaceful and humane redistribution of wealth. I don't take any pleasure or joy in imagining the suffering of anyone, even if they are people who, by neglect or some other root cause pain and suffering to others. Now, I know at least one former Amazon employee who definitely would not share that opinion, so I'm a proletariat, but Lord knows I'm not as impacted as some folks. Not as abused and mistreated by, in big air quotes, the system as other folks have. I'm riding high on a lot of privilege. I'm, eternally appreciative of, and would really like to have more opportunities to redistribute. But doing that in a vacuum is pretty difficult. If it were as easy as literally giving something physical away, oh my god, it'd be so much easier, right? But it's not just physical. Yeah, I mean, it's physical in the sense of, like, yeah, there's monetary advantages to being a able-bodied, white, cis-looking person like me. narcissist looking, generally masculine presenting person like me, well, you know, I say I'm able-bodied, and I mostly am, but I'm not. Like, I wear glasses. It's not a huge disability, but it is a disability. But I've always really resisted the idea and been uncomfortable with the idea about thinking about myself as being disabled, because it's really common, right? And it's correctable to a point. But if you take my fucking glasses off, I still can't goddamn see. And let me tell you, that is not my favorite thing in the world. Particularly, like, when... Dude, having... being nearsighted sucks when having sex with someone. If I am in between your legs, I cannot see your face. It's all a blur. So I have to go off of sound and touch and feeling and sensation, and, you know, I'm really good at reading people and I'm really good at reading bodies, so it works out. It works out really well. But that sounds nice. I'm pretty pissed that I can't have that. And you could say, well, you could keep your glasses on. No, you fucking can't. They're pokey and pointy and just uncomfortable, and if someone's in between your thighs, you aren't about to squeeze your thighs together if there's, like, metal jutting out of their fucking head. No, it takes too much away, and, like, God, I bumped so many people with my glasses while going in to kiss them, or readjusting, or even cuddling. That's... contacts, I guess, would be better. But I don't want to have to fucking poke my eye. I'm a big baby. Which means I could get corrective surgery, but that scares the hell out of me. And it isn't a medical necessity, so... And also, I can't pay for it, so it's kind of a non-issue because of that, but... Yeah. Where's I going with that? Privilege! Yeah, I was talking about privilege, and I went off on a tirade about being blind. Oh my god, yeah. If you want me to cry... hopeful videos about space or the future of humanity, that almost always does it. One of those sappy videos where it shows a blind kid being able to see for the first time, or having their vision restored by surgery or an implant, or like a kid being able to hear for the first time, or even an adult being able to hear or see for the first time, I fucking lose it. I lose it. Not like immediately, but if I'm watching it in good faith, those really emotionally resonate with me, because me want that. Me want eyes work. Me want not be blind. You know, it's a trade-off, right? I can't see, and I can't see well. At all. But the trade-off of that means that if I take my glasses off, I'm making myself really vulnerable. And if I like you, or trust you enough to be in that position with you, position, right? But seriously, that's a big thing. That's a really big thing. And it's kind of hard to express that to people, especially when I'm being intimate with them the first time, or one of the first times. Like, hey, yeah, I mean, we're both being emotionally vulnerable because we're boning, but like, also, I'm turning my eyes off for you. So, like, please be mindful of that. And that's probably a big contributor to me leaning towards subspace is a headspace in most relationships, because I'm already... I've never understood the appeal of blinds. Sexy blinds. Like, I can't see what you're doing. How hot. Bitch, that ain't hot. That's every day. It's annoying. Like, it's scary. It's scary in, like, a lot of ways. And I don't want to go off on tirade about, like, fetishizing a disability, because I don't think it's that. Though, you know, it's kind of that. If you think about it, just pretty weird. Sensory deprivation is sort of that. Not intentionally, but, like, unintentionally. It does seem to have that effect, and feels weird, dog. Feels weird. Yeah, I don't know. Being able to see is not overrated, and if you can see well, you're goddamn lucky. I can see okay. I can see without my glasses. I'm not completely blind, so I guess I should be appreciative. Yeah, this is about the 1 hour mark. Yeah, this is about the point I get in these videos where I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm good. This has been a good tirade. I probably would have been okay being finished at like half an hour, but now it's dragging past the hour mark, and I don't want to throw, because a lot of the fun and satisfaction to be had in playing this game is pushing a little more, a little more, a little more, and I think I can get to the next island. Tell you what, if we get to the next island, I'll just quit there, call it a day, because I don't want to eat up all my free time. 27 over here, 30, cool. So yeah, I'm thinking about getting tattoos. I'm old enough that, well, I'm almost old enough that I think I can get corrective eye surgery. I think they want you to be, God, 28 or 30? So I'm almost there. But I can't afford it right now anyway, because it's an elective surgery. But I fucking want it. Like, it would literally be life-changing to me. I don't make eye contact with people because I don't think they can see my eyes. Like, if I see someone who I think is cute, I don't make eye contact with them. I only make eye contact with people, like, I actually know. And, like, part of this is me being shy, but, like, my glasses are a huge contributor to that, and like a huge contributor to a lot of my insecurities and a lot of my just fucking everything. So yeah, you know, it'd be fundamentally life-changing to get that surgery done. I'm absolutely sure I don't want to be a parent, so I would like to make my reproductive functions not function. I've been thinking about a couple other therapies or treatments that I might want to look into, but I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence and undecided. Oh my god, here's a fun question. If you met a version of you who was a... would you date yourself, basically? Would you date and or have sex with yourself if there were a you clone out there? Assume they're of whatever gender you like getting down with. Or both or neither, whatever makes it most novel and sexy for you. I don't think I would. I don't think that I would. I don't feel like that's a very strange answer, but I've heard people ask that question. I've asked people that question who've been like emphatically, excitedly saying yes to it. That is so outside of my lived experience. That is so outside of me. I don't think that I would. Which is... it is what it is. Is it strange? Is it not? I don't know. But it has been something I've given thought. It's a weird hypothetical, but like, yeah. I've been thinking about the idealized you, right? This there's a common myth in about you, about the idea of self, that there is a soul or some immortal, unmoving, unshakable, irrevocable, there we go, true self. Maybe that true self is, maybe you're born with it, maybe, you know, it's Maybelline, whatever. It's bullshit, right? Like, you're aware of this. There is no selfish, transient, and momentary, and forever shifting in time. That moments didn't actually happen exactly as you remember them, and we do a lot of projecting. And yeah, you know, or you know, you don't, and go watch Kurzgesagt episode on identity, I think. With the self, Kurzgesagt has a couple of good episodes on this. And there are many other well-documented information sources that talk about and explore the same thing. Really, that, like, materially, biologically, you're not who you used to be. Every, what am I thinking of here? What movie am I thinking of? Waking Life? Yeah, Waking Life is spectacular. I'd highly recommend it. It's weird as hell. You have to watch it like at least 2 times to really process everything that's going on, and fucking great. It's old now. It's getting pretty old, but so good. They talk about how the idea of self is an illusion in this movie. In one conversation in this movie that's only tangentially related to everything else that's going on. That's so good, go watch it. And, you know, you're talking about every X many years, literally no cell in your body is the same that it used to be. How are you still you? You're not even the same entity. You're your own reproduction at that point. I wouldn't say offspring because it's not sexual reproduction, but you're a reproduction of yourself at that point. You have remade yourself slowly, bit by bit, piece by piece, day after day, year after year, month after month, decade after decade, but you have. You're not the child that you once were. You're not the teenager that you once were, if you're old enough. You literally aren't. You have their memories, you have their genetics, you have things in common, but like, you're not literally the same person anymore. You share the same consciousness, kind of, but like, is it really the same consciousness if the computational devices that make you conscious have all changed you know, it's a Ship of Theseus thing. What was that game everybody was all excited about a few years ago that was very cyberpunk and was basically a Ship of Theseus metaphor made into a game? No, how many pieces do you have to take away until somebody isn't human anymore? Or until someone isn't them anymore? That sort of thing. How the hell did I get on this? I was talking about different surgeries and body modification, and yeah, you know, I guess it's all conceptually in the same wheelhouse. Defining self and asserting our ability to create and craft ourselves. Cyborg anthropology is a concept that is near and dear to my heart. I forget who wrote the book on it, but she's brilliant. Go check out the Wikipedia article. Cyborg anthropology basically talks about how in this modern era, especially in online spaces, or spaces like massive multiplayer online role-playing games or other virtual spaces, we are given the opportunity to manifest ourselves in whatever way that we feel is most appropriate. Physical shape, physical attributes, different performances of gender in brilliant, unflinching varieties. And it's so damn cool that we are in a place where your idea of self is not contained in your head anymore, that you can create avatars of yourself that are to other people a representation of you that can look nothing like you. And they will often treat you as if you are your avatar. In certain spaces, in certain contexts. And that represents, and it represents a very interesting and pivotal moment in human history. Though, you know, we've always been able to use technology to affect and impact and modify what it means to be me, what it means to be you, what it means to be human. Like glasses, clothing, dental fillings, canes, tools, sticks, spears. These are all things, just even bedding, are things that change fundamentally what it is to be me. My nails, my fingernails, I cut. You know, they're not something I have to wear down through use or gnaw off. Now, you know, when I'm nervous, I have a bad habit of chewing them, like a lot of people. That's changed. I don't have to stumble around half blind to the world. I can see. That isn't natural. But does something being unnatural make it bad? No, absolutely not. I think the inherent idea of the natural is caustic and toxic and gross. There is no natural world. Natural world, just like truth and justice and beauty, is something we dreamt up. Now, there is no fixed moment in history where the world was natural and had no artifice in it at all. The world has always been, so long as we have been recording it and living in it, a combination of biological processes, chemical processes, geographic processes, just chemistry and physics working away. And just because a system is likely to have a certain outcome or a certain behavior because of its component parts, does that mean that it should go that way just because it would if nobody intervened? No! No, that's stupid! Like, we're able and capable of intervening. So, I'm a big advocate of, you want to be a fucking cyborg? Be a goddamn cyborg. You want to undergo modifying your genome? It's yours. Do it. You want to undergo hormonal treatments and modify your gender expressions and traits to be more representative of how you feel and who you are? Fucking do it. Abso-fucking-lutely do it. We have these capabilities. We have these tools that can make people happier, that can make people better, more true, more accurate representations of themselves. And we have the capability to do it in the virtual spaces, like the basis of cyborg anthropology, but we also have increasingly the ability to do it in physical spaces, in meat space. As God, what cyberpunk IP coined that? I can't remember, but in this space too. Yeah, another day. Another excuse for me to advocate trans rights. But seriously, this is something I wanted to go to school for this when I went to college. I just couldn't get into the college that had a degree program in cyborg anthropology, so my plan was to Lewis and Clark in Portland, Oregon is where I wanted to go. And God, if I could go now, I would bankrupt myself to go there and study this program. Even though there might not be much new to it, it's still what I wanted to study and what I wanted to do with my life. Understanding and researching and playing around with the ideas of humanity and technology and the intersections between the two, how we define ourselves in relationship to what we have and what we make and who we are and how fluid and transient that all is, in ways that we can look at new technologies and new technologies or technologies just on the horizon, and how we can extrapolate and imagine ways that that's going to change the way we are, the way that we interact with each other, the way that we see the world, our ideas of ourselves, in a big sense, but also in a small and deeply personal sense. There's interviews. If you look back at people talking about what they thought the internet was going to be and how it was going to change the world, and so many of them are just like completely undersold it or completely inadequate. But some people got close. No one could have imagined it become the huge omnipotent monstrosity that it's become. Not really. Not in its weirdness and its shapes that it has been what it is, but that's what I want to do. That's what I want to study and talk about. And I know I don't need a degree to do that, but that's what I really wanted to go to school for. And I really regret the opportunity and not following through on that. Yeah. But I said I was gonna quit when we hit this island, and I am feeling kinda done with this. But yeah, you know, doing well. Go look up all your different divinatory and astrological signs. There's some fun stuff in there, some really neat ideas. The one that resonates with me the least is it Ardu? It's my Babylonian one. I think it means the farm worker or the hired hand. Not really super accurate, but maybe in the sense that your boy all about that proletariat and maybe you can twist it that way. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, go read about cyborg anthropology. Go watch Waking Life, and The Hogfather. I mean, shit, and all that. That's the rest of your day if you go do that. So, get out of here. Go do that. Until tomorrow, I've been me. You've been you. Hopefully we'll start up a new series of something soon. I have, like I said, a list of dozens of things I'm wanting to get at. I have some growth goals for the channel that I'm thinking about wanting to hit by the end of the year, but I'd actually have to put time and work and energy into it, and I might want to, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. See you later. Bye-bye.